श्री कृष्ण नामामृतवर्षि वक्त्र श्री कृष्ण नामामृतवर्षि वक्त्र चंद्र प्रभाध्वष्टतमो भराय चंद्र प्रभाध्वष्टतमो भराय गौरांग देवानुचर्य तस्मै गौरांग देवानुचर्य तस्मै नमो नमः श्रील नरोत्तमाय नमो नमः श्रील नरोत्तमाय नमो नमः श्रील नरोत्तमाय।
Hare Krishna to all the devotees of ISKCON Montreal. Thank you so much for inviting me to your Sangha. So while you all set it up for the Facebook, I'll just do a short kirtan and then we'll dive into the class. So we'll do the daily kirtan that we do. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Mure Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Mure Tum bina ke dayalu जगत संसारे तुम बिना के दयालु जगत संसारे पतित पावन हेतु तव अवतार पतित पावन हेतु तव अवतार मुसम पतिता प्रभु न पाई बया आहा प्रभु नित्यानंदा प्रेमानंद सुखी हा प्रभु नित्यानंदा प्रेमानंद सुखी कृपा बोलो काना करो आमी बड़ो दुखी कृपा बोलो काना करो आमी बड़ो दुखी दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई तव कृपा बोले पाय चैतन्य निताय हा स्वरूप सनातन रूप रघुनाम भट्ट जुगा श्री जीव प्रभु लोकन्ना दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास रामचंद्र संग मगे नरोत्तम रामचंद्र संग मगे नरोत्तम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मुरे दया करो मुरे All glories to Narottama Das Thakur. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Are we okay? Thank you so much. So, my humble obeisances to all the devotees at Montreal. Please accept my pranams. Vancha kalpatarubhayascha kripa sindhubevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Apne Gurudev ki jai. So, I have been asked to speak today on the glorious life and teachings of Srila Narottama Das Thakur. I think today also happens to be the appearance day of Srila Narottama Das Thakur. So it's a privilege. Personally, Narottama Das Thakur is my favorite hero among all the Gaudiya lineage that we have of different acharyas. He's personally, I'm very inspired, and I'm very glad to be given this opportunity today to speak something to glorify him. Narottama Das Thakur was not only a firebrand preacher or a fearless preacher, but he was also a very rasika devotee, and he has written several songs. I think more than 120 songs or something, but hundreds of songs, hundreds of verses, and few books. So we are very fortunate today to get this opportunity to glorify him, because knowingly or unknowingly, actually we are connected to him on a day-to-day basis, because we sing these songs which were written by him as our daily sadhana. We are singing Shri Guru Charana Padma, and then there are Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karamure, or just about so many such songs which we sing as a part of our daily sadhana are written by Narottama Das Thakur. And not only that, our dear Srila Prabhupada, at several places, I think somebody even made a research on this, more than 2,000 times Narottama Das Thakur has been quoted by Srila Prabhupada, whether it is his lectures or conversations or books or room conversations. If you just go to the Veda base, or just, you can see several places Prabhupada is saying, so Srila Narottama Das Thakur said, Srila Narottama Das Thakur said this, though he didn't speak much about his life, but definitely Prabhupada quoted from the purports and translations of his various bhajans. So the essence of our bhakti life is to get mercy of Krishna, is to drive attention of Krishna on us so that we can be delivered. And the only way to get this mercy is through the acharyas. So we need to get connected to these acharyas. We need to get attached to these acharyas. And it's only then that we can get their mercy. Now, how do you get attached to somebody if we don't know much about him? So the more we know, the more we hear about them, our attachment towards them grows. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that this attachment to the acharyas is the very root, it's the very root for the tender creeper of our bhakti. So the more we hear, the more we can relate to them, the more we understand that they are not some distant historical figure. They're very much there, they're very much present, they're very much their shelter, their inspiration is very much there in our lives. So the more we hear about them, the more we get connected. So today, in my talk, I'll be drawing in bits and pieces from different places, from something from Bhakti Ratnakar by Narahari Chakravarti Thakur, something from Narottam Vilas, which is also by the same author, Narahari Chakravarti Thakur, some things from the Prema Vilas, which is by Nityananda Das, and some things from the book Vaishnav Saints by Satyaraj Das, and many things from the book by Srila Mataji, The Glorious Life of Narottama Das Thakur, one amazing book on the pastimes of Narottama Das Thakur. But all these different books has overlapping facts, in the sense there's a lot of difference of opinions about different events that happened. But today, our focus is not on the chronologies, but it's on the It's on the philosophical and the emotional content of that, and how we take inspiration and lessons from those pastimes is what our focus will be. So we will try to take some lessons from the pastimes of Narottama Das Thakur. So we all know that he's a trailblazer of the preaching movement of Krishna consciousness, and how it all started, and how he appeared. So, coming to his birth was already awaited by the Supreme Lord himself. So there is this pastime where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was once doing kirtan with other associates on the bank river side of river Padmavati. And along with his associates, they were, with their hands high in the air, chanting and doing kirtan. Now, as they come close to the river, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just faints in ecstasy. And then, after some time, when he is into consciousness, he starts calling out, Narottam, Narottam. And then they are all just thinking among themselves, so who is Narottam? Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calling out to? So Nityananda Prabhu goes closer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, my Lord, who is Narottam? Nobody named Narottam is here. Whom should I call for? And he again says, Narottam, Narottam. And Nityananda Prabhu is wondering what's happening. And Vakreshwar Pandit and Haridas Thakur, they just start chanting more loudly. Maybe that will pacify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then they see, lo and behold, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts crying, and tears are rolling down, and they're not able to understand what exactly happened. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sharing with Nityananda, and he says, who will carry on the mission after we are no more in this world? Who will carry on the mission? And Nityananda Prabhu very humbly says, you know the answers for all the questions, my Lord. How do I know? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whispers in his ears and says, Narottam will carry out the mission. Narottam will carry the mission further. So they're still wondering, but who is Narottam? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he's not born yet. He's going to come. And he calls out for Narottam. And then he announces that tomorrow morning, I'm going to take bath in this river, Padmavati, and I'm going to deposit Krishna Prem in this river for Narottam. So when Narottam takes birth, this Krishna Prem will be handed over to Narottam. So now they're all wondering, how is this going to happen? So however, the devotees are very excited. So next day morning, everybody is ready and Kirtan is going on, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes inside the river and he's there up to his waist. And then he just calls out, and Padmavati Devi, the river, she just comes and with folded hands and says, yes, my Lord, how can I serve you? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, well, I want to deposit Krishna Prem with you. Keep it safely. And when a dark complexioned boy called Narottam comes, hand over this Krishna Prem to him. Now, I don't know what way Lord gave Krishna Prem. Some places it is said that Lord gave a golden pot to her. Whereas in some commentaries they said, Lord was crying tears, and that tears got mixed up in the river Padmavati, and that is Krishna Prem. So now we don't know what is that mysterious thing that Lord handed over, but yes, Lord did hand over Krishna Prem to Padmavati. Now the river Padmavati asks, oh, this is very nice, but how do I know who is Narottam? You say dark complexion boys, so there's so many dark complexion boys. How will I know this is Narottam? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, just like when I entered your rivers, your banks were overflooding, your water was overflooding, same thing will happen when Narottam enters your water. So do give him this Krishna Prem. And then Padmavati river just accepts it and goes. And then our hero appears. So that is sometime after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves this world, around 1534, maybe 1 year this way, that way, in this place called Kheturi, this village, which is on the bank of Padmavati river, which is in the present day Bangladesh. I think it's in Murshidabad district. So here, there is a Kayastha. Now, Kayastha is a particular class, a particular caste of people who were managing the villages, but they were under the Muslim kings. So, however, they were not respected by the Brahmanas because they were subservient to Muslims. So, these Muslim rulers, these Nawabs, were their boss. So now, but however, he was very affluent and very rich. So this king called Krishna Nanda Datta and his wife Narayani, they were the rulers for this place called Kheturi. So, of course, this is such a huge topic, and there are so many sweet pastimes which happen in between of how they never had any children for a long time in their marriage, and they were waiting, and they were a pious couple worshipping Shaligram and doing their religious duties properly, ruling their whole area very piously, very sweet, very humble couple. But they didn't have children for a long time. So now this mysterious things start happening to them. How one day Krishnananda is just sitting and looking out of the window, and he hears a celestial voice saying that, very soon a male child is going to be born to you. And then very next moment, his wife comes in and says, I saw a dream. And in a dream, I saw a very, very effulgent personality entering from your heart to my heart. And as they are talking, they decide, okay, let's call for an astrologer. What is happening? Why are we seeing so many beautiful omens? So then they call out for an astrologer, and then an astrologer predicts, yes, very soon a male child is going to be born to you. And then it happens in the month of Magha. On a full moon night, Narottama Das Thakur appears. Now, when he appears, he's a dark complexion, but very beautiful looking, with lotus petal-like eyes, a very, very effulgent body. So now he was the one and the only son, and born after such a long marriage. So they were really attached to him, and they really wanted to make it very grand. So they invite everybody, have great festival, and then they invite the different astrologers to see their chart, what our son is going to be, and how do we name him? What name will be appropriate for him? So then they all calculate different stars, and then they say, yeah, looks like he's going to be one of the very greatest men who have walked the earth. So why not we call him Narottama? Because Nara means man, and Uttama means one who is great personality, or let's say one who is topmost. So Narottama is one who is a topmost man. So that is how they call him Narottama. But however, the astrologers predict, but there's something with the river. Make sure that your son never enters a river body, a water body, because if he does that, then there's going to be some problem. He may become mad or whatever. So be careful that he never enters a water body. So then that's it, and they were very happy. They made sure the child never goes to the water body. His father was always looking at the window and looking at the Padmavati river and thinking, I'll never allow my son to go near the water. Now the child's getting elder, and after the 6 months they have this ceremony called Anna Prasanna. So the first Anna, the first grain of rice the child takes. Now this is also very special how it happened in Narottama Das Thakur's life. So he's a small baby, and now they're trying to feed him some sweet rice. That's the ceremony. They start with the sweet rice. But he's so adamant. Otherwise, he's a very sweet boy. But he just doesn't open his mouth, and he's not ready to take in. And they're wondering what happened. So the mother is trying, and the father is trying, but it's just not working out. And then a Brahmana comes. And he had just finished his daily puja, and he's just carrying some prasadam from his deity. So he says, shall I try? And they said, yeah, why not? So he just takes that prasad and puts it in Narottama's mouth, and immediately Narottama takes it. So then they all understand, oh, this was not offered to the Lord. So Narottama did not want to eat it. He wanted to eat that which is offered to the Lord. And everybody starts glorifying, hey, Krishnananda, looks like your son is very devotionally inclined. And Krishnananda becomes very happy. He said, yes, so my son is going to be a good king. He's such a pious, even from childhood he's showing such beautiful symptoms. And then of course at the age of 5, they do the Karna Bheda ceremony. So the Karna Bheda ceremony is they pierce the ears, and then the formal education starts. So now he's formally getting educated. But then he was Rajakumar. He was a prince. So they never had him go to a school, but they had a school inside the palace. So where different pupils come of his age, and they all study there. So he started his studying, and he was academically very good, very sharp brain. In just a couple of months, he just mastered all the academic books, all the religious books, and he was so quick. And then one day he observed, as he was growing, that every year in the Kheturi village, there were a lot of pilgrims who used to pass by because they had to go and attend the Ratha Yatra. So, see, those days, because of the mode of transport was such, people had to take breaks, break their journey and then start, and then they take some rest. So they used to halt at different places. So usually during the Ratha Yatra time at Puri, lot of devotees, sadhus used to come to Kheturi village, and his father, being a very pious king, used to make all the arrangements for those pilgrims to be comfortable, take prasad, have nice shelter, get refreshed before they continue their journey. So during one of these festival-like situation where the pilgrims have come in large numbers, Narottam, he decides to go and see what is going on in different tents, different colorful canopies, what is around. So, but then he's not allowed because he's a Rajkumar. So, however, he convinces one of the guards that I will just walk with you and hold your hand. I'm not going anywhere. Just take me around. I want to see what's happening. So then one of the guards, they just took him around and they thought this is safe, no harm. He's not doing anything. We're just showing him around. So this became a ritual. Every evening he was holding the hand of the guard, going around and seeing. And one such evening, he met a very special person called Krishnadas Pandit. Krishnadas Babaji is mentioned in some places. Now, Krishnadas Babaji, he made a rapport with Narottam, and Narottam was asking, as a young boy, asking him different questions. And Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he started telling him about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, because he had come from Navadvip, and him telling him so many beautiful pastimes. That way he got a little attached. So then one day his father called the guard and said, "Where does Narottam go every evening?" So he said, "Sir, he just moves around a little bit, and he meets one sadhu called Krishnadas Pandit or Krishnadas Babaji." So Narottam's father said, "He shouldn't be going out. Ask the Babaji to come to our palace, and I have no issue. If my son is associating with some sadhu, it's my good fortune." So then they said, all right. So then they invited Krishnadas Babaji, "Please come to the palace every day." So now this became a daily ritual. He started coming every evening and spend some time with Narottam, tell him lots of stories, lots of pastimes of different associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now, slowly and steadily, Narottam started getting so attached to Krishnadas Babaji that he used to finish up his homeworks and finish up his schoolwork so quickly, because he used to wait that I want to know more, because yesterday he said something about Rupa and he said something about Sanatana. What is he going to say today? So he was like so curious to know what is going to be today's topic. So days passed on, and he was hearing very sincerely, very carefully. Not only that whole place, Kheturi, was a very pious place. And even his parents were so pious that every evening, round the year, they used to have Krishna Katha in the evening. All used to gather, hear Katha. So even as a young boy, when the king used to carry his son, in the lap, or just take him in the evening program, people used to get amazed seeing that how sincerely he used to sit and hear the Katha. Unlike the other children who would just maybe run around the pandal, but he used to sincerely listen the Katha. So from beginning, he was very much interested to hear. He was a good listener. So now Krishnadas Babaji started telling him so many things. And one day, Krishnadas, as he was narrating some pastimes, Narottam said, "I want to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." And then Krishnadas said, "But he's no more. He's left this world." And when Narottam came to know that, he was shattered. He said, "All along you told me so many pastimes, and I thought I will meet him someday. And now you tell me that he's not there anymore." Oh, he was so heartbroken and he was crying. And Krishnadas Babaji had to tell him few more pastimes and somehow divert his mind and get him in control. He was profusely crying. "Oh, I wanted to meet him. I thought someday I will see him. You never told me that he's not there anymore." And then, he said, "Okay, fine. Anyway, I will see Rupa. I'll see Sanatan." Now, what happened? Slowly, as he was going on hearing these kathas, there was so much in his mind that in his day-to-day conversations, the katha used to come out. So like once he was having prasadam with his father. So his father was trying to, hey, take some more. And then he said, why are we eating so much, father? Raghunath Das Goswami, he just takes a little buttermilk. He doesn't eat like this. And then his father is laughing. Oh, so you know so many things. Huh? Oh no, that's not for us to follow. They are all worshipable, but we cannot follow them. You understand? And then one day he says, Father, why do we have to stay in this palace? Can't we just run away? Can't we just go to Vrindavan? So his father said, but why? He said, no, we should just run away. What do you say? But you know what, father? We should not run away with our servants, because if they bring gold coins, then we will be in trouble, just like Sanatan Goswami was in trouble. So when he started speaking all this, his father was like, what is happening? Where are you learning all these things from? So then his father very sweetly explains to him, my dear son, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they're all very worshipable. They're all very pure devotees of the Lord. But we can't become like them. We have our own duties. We are the rulers here, and we have to take care of this village. So we cannot become like them. We can just worship them. And Narottam Das, in his mind, he thinks, maybe you cannot become like him, but someday I will become like him. And maybe I can become like him, and I will become like him. This is what he thinks in his mind. So now as the days are passing, Narayani, wife of Krishnananda, mother of Narottama, expresses her fear to her husband. I don't know, I see a lot of changes in our son. He's not normal child. He's just talking so many things. Sometimes I just get worried. Can we do something about it? And Krishnananda is thinking, he's a pious person, and he's like, if I stop Krishnadas Babaji from coming to the palace, it will be making an offense to the sadhu. I can't say him no, but you don't worry. I'll counsel him. I'll counsel our son. He'll be all right. Don't worry. He'll be a good king. He'll be nice. I'll counsel him. And this is what the conversation is going on. Now by this time, Narottam Das Thakur has already come to his teenage. And now, on one fortunate, beautiful night, Nityananda Prabhu comes in the dream of Narottama. And in the dream, Nityananda Prabhu tells him, hey Narottam, now it's enough. Your Keturi pastime is done. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is waiting for you. Go and take bath in the Padmavati river. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has kept Krishna Prem for you there. So go and take the Krishna Prem, take the gift that Mahaprabhu has kept for you, and join us. And join us in Vrindavan. Join us in Vrindavan. You have lots of work to be done. We need to take the mission forward. Now, when he wakes up, it's past midnight, and he's just thinking, is it real? I saw Nityananda Prabhu. And he was so happy. So now he decides, okay, this is the instruction given to me and I'll follow. So now early morning, in the Brahma Muhurta, he just walks. Now everybody in the house is sleeping, and he just walks to the Padmavati river, and then he dips inside the river. And then lo and behold, Padmavati, Mother Padmavati is there, very much personified. She takes Narottam in her lap, and then hands over Krishna Prem, drowns Narottam in Krishna Prem. And Narottam becomes so happy, so ecstatic. He sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of a little boy entering inside his heart. And then Narottam becomes a madman. He shows all the Ashta Sattvika Vikar, the crying and laughing and tears coming down and bodies trembling and stunned. And he's just completely changed person. And not only that, Narottam had dark complexion, but because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered, Krishna Prem entered, he becomes golden colored, completely different personality. And now, even today, we can see that place in Bangladesh, that exact place where Narottam got Krishna Prem from Padmavati river. There's a very beautiful tree there, a huge one, and I think they also have a Gaudiya Mutt there, they have decorated the tree very nicely, and it's called Premathali Ghat, where Narottam got Prema, that is a ghat. And there's a Gaudiya Mutt, and they have this offerings they do 7 times in a day. They offer prasad, and 7 times in a day they do arati. That place is there. So now, because Narottam has got Krishna Prem, he just he just puts his hand high in the air and he's dancing and singing like a madman. And early in the morning, when the village ladies come there for washing clothes and taking bath, they are like, is he not Rajkumar, Krishnananda's son? Why is he acting like a madman? So they immediately, some of the ladies, they run to the palace and inform, your son is here and he's just acting crazy. So then they all come there and then they escort him. They take him back home. But now when he enters the palace, his own mother and father are not able to recognize him, because even the color of his skin has changed. He's no more dark complexion and he's behaving in a very different way, different symptoms. And then they just ask him to take rest. And in the evening, his mother very lovingly, putting hand on his head, very lovingly says, Narottam, and they used to call him Naru. So he said, Naru, what happened to you, my son? Why are you behaving like this? So then Naru, he just puts the head on his mother's lap and he cries. He says, Mother, what should I tell you? I saw this little boy, golden complexion. He entered my heart and now I am in his separation. I want to meet him. I want to join his service. I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to leave this place. Now his mother is completely heartbroken. What has this happened? Our son was completely normal till yesterday and now what is he talking? What to do? So now both the parents are worried. Now they are also devotees, so they understand what he's talking about. So then they discuss among themselves that looks like our son may not stay for long, so let's guard him. Let's make sure that he doesn't escape or he doesn't just run away. And all this is temporary. After some time he'll get better. We'll sort it out. Nothing to worry. So they just console each other and they immediately put a lot of guards, a lot of security guards around him and make sure that he doesn't go anywhere. Now the days are passing. A few months passed and Narottam's condition is not improving. He simply keeps crying whole day, sometimes keeps crying whole night, doesn't eat anything, always chanting Krishna's name, always in separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now what to do? They're all wondering. And he is also thinking that how long will I have to stay like this? They're all guarding me. There is no way I can escape. And he's just praying, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karo More, Toma Bina Ke Dayalu, please take me out from this condition. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also comes in his dream and he says that just join me in Vrindavan. Just come to Vrindavan. Somehow you come to Vrindavan. So now, fortunately for him, next day morning when he gets up, he gets a message from the Nawab. And the Nawab is, has sent a message to Krishnananda that I have heard that your son has become divine. So I want to see him because I'm hearing a lot of gossip about him. So I'm sending palanquin and I'm sending all these soldiers and please send him. I just want to see him. Now, they were all working under this Muslim king, so they didn't have much choice. However, they were reluctant, but then they thought, that's all right. The Nawab is going to send all the guards, so my son will be safe. Just meet the Nawab and come back. So that's all right. So they send him. Of course, different commentaries and different books have different versions. In some places they say he simply walked out one night. He just touched the feet of his parents while they were in deep sleep and he just walked out. Whereas some places they say that the Nawab had sent a palanquin for him because Nawab wanted to see him. So now finally he's very happy. At least I got some chance to come out of this place. Somehow I want to escape from this place. So now he's inside the palanquin and he's with all these guards and soldiers and they're on their way to meet the Nawab. Now, as they get inside, little bit deep inside the forest, so what he does, Narottam, is he just says, I have to, nature's call. So some reason, some excuse he makes and somehow escapes from those guards. Now these guards are also very sharp, so they just run behind him, somehow find. Now this whole thing is like a Tom and Jerry, just going, it's like a jungle maze. He's getting into this place, then they get in this place, and he's just running around somehow trying to escape. And finally they catch him. And they say, enough of playing, Rajkumar, let's go back home. This is not correct what you are doing. Your old father and mother will cry for you. Why are you doing this? Now Narottama is a very sweet boy. So he very sweetly explains, he said, just like a young girl, if she has given her heart to a young boy, now she can't give her heart to any other man. She would long to be with him. Similarly, once somebody has given their heart to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, now they long to be with him. I long to be with my beloved Lord. I want to go to Vrindavan. Please don't do this to me. Don't force me. I don't want to come back. There's no heart. My heart is gone. My heart has been stolen by the Lord. It's not with me. Now I need to go to Vrindavan. Just please leave me alone. Little boy speaking all this so sweetly, the guards got finally melted and they said, all right, you can go. And not only that, some of the guards even gave him some Lakshmi. Rajkumar, how will you go? Okay, keep some money and go carefully. And they all went back. Now he was on his own and he just ran and ran and ran. He didn't want to stop in case the guards changed their mind. He kept running, days together, nothing to eat, he has nothing, and he was a prince, so he was not used to such austerities, barefooted, just running. And at one point he just collapsed. And when he just collapsed, what happens? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself comes in a form of a little Brahmana, golden complexioned Brahmana, and comes and gives him a pot of milk. Now he was so famished, he didn't even have the strength to hold the pot. He just takes a pot and he sleeps. And then he gets a divine vision in which Rupa and Sanatan come. And then Rupa and Sanatan says, hey, Narottam, you know who is that little boy who came and gave you this pot? That's Mahaprabhu himself has come. And once you drink it, all your fatigue, all your tiredness will go away. So then he just somehow gets up and then he sees the pot and just gulps it, very carefully without even, little bit, here and there or just, without throwing anything down. He's just so careful without dropping anything. He just gulps it. And yes, he just becomes so fresh and again he regains all the strength. Then he again starts running. And then finally, after 2 months, he reaches Mathura. So when he is in Mathura, he just takes bath in the Vishram Ghat. And then he's asking, some ladies are doing some work there or some of them. So he just asked them that, what is this place? Have I reached Vrindavan? So they said, yeah, you are in Mathura. Just, a little more and you'll be in Vrindavan. And the moment they said that he is near Vrindavan, his heart starts beating so fast. All the while, he was running. Now suddenly he becomes slow. He's just thinking, I came, but am I even qualified to enter Vrindavan? I came, but will they even accept me? I'm just a lowly person. Will they accept my service? Will they accept me in their group? Will Rupa and Sanatan bless me? Did I do right? I don't know. Shall I go? How? He's just going on thinking. And now he became so slow. Every step that he's taking towards Vrindavan is very slow and very thoughtful. Now we see that, when we are in awe of somebody, when the person actually comes in front of us, it becomes very difficult. Like I've seen many times it happens to me when my Guru Maharaj is visiting Vishakhapatnam. Even the day before, I'm all excited and I'm all active and making all the arrangements and everything. And oh, come on, let's go to the airport. We should be on time, this, that, and all. But finally, when the time is that he's going to now come, now the heart starts like, okay, so finally, yeah. So how, what should I say? Or, this happens, right? When we are in awe of somebody. All the while we are very active, all the while we are very confident, but when actually the person comes in front of you, you are speechless, you don't know what to say anymore. So this is what is happening with Narottama. Is like, all the while he was like, I have to go, I want to go, I must go. And now that he's there in Vrindavan, he's like, so finally I'm going to see Rupa and Sanatan and all those people who I've been hearing about for days and months and years. And then finally he meets a brahmachari there, a sadhu there. So when he sees Narottama and he sees all these ecstatic symptoms and all, and he's asking him that, what's your name? And then he says, I'm Narottam. And the moment he says, I'm Narottam, oh, this brahmachari becomes so happy. He said, everybody is waiting for you here in Vrindavan. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had long back said that you are going to come and everybody is waiting for you. We are so happy to see you. Hey, Narottam, you are here. I'm so fortunate that I could see you. So yeah, please come. And then he takes him to his house, feeds him prasadam. Now, while feeding prasadam, by the way, he just mentions that, Rupa and Sanatan are no more. They have already left this world. Now, Narottam is completely shattered. He's crying. He said, what is this? All these months I planned, I plotted, I dreamt, I hoped, I jumped, I walked miles together, enduring so many hardships just to meet them. And now you're telling me there are no more? Oh, what should I do with my life? I just want to give up my life. I don't want to live anymore. Oh, how unfortunate I am. Neither I could see Mahaprabhu, neither I can see his followers. So as he's crying and crying, the brahmachari is like, hey, hold on. Not everybody has left. Raghunath Das Goswami is still there. Jiva Goswami is still there. Lokanath Goswami is still there. Oh, there's so many people. Don't say like that. Don't be so heartbroken. Come on, collect yourself. Come, I'll take you around. I'll take you for the darshan of all these exalted Vaishnavas, and they've all been eagerly waiting for you. So then he just gets composed again, and then they go to the temple of Govindadev in Vrindavan. So now when he sees the deities of Govindadev, he's so happy. He's just dancing, and the pujari brings the maha garland of Govindadev and puts it around Narottam. And then Narottam is, dancing in ecstasy, and seeing the deities, he just falls down unconscious. Now, while all this thing is happening, some of the devotees who now came to know that Narottam is here informs Jiva Goswami that Narottam has already come. So Jiva Goswami just comes running inside the Govindadev temple and is asking everybody, where is Narottam? Where is Narottam? Where is he? And they say, here is Narottam. And he becomes so happy. And then by the time Narottam gains consciousness, and then Jiva Goswami just holds him tight to his heart and he says, Narottam, we've been waiting for you. We're so happy that you have come finally. Oh, there's lots to do. Come. First you need to recover. You need to nourish yourself. See, what have you done to yourself? Because he was completely with all kind of bruises and tattered clothes, and completely, he was like 2 months of walking, but hardly any food and shelter. So for some time now, Jiva Goswami feeds him nice prasadam, gives him some nice clothes to wear, and he just gets recovered. So this is what happens. And now finally, Narottam Das Thakur is so happy that now he is among the devotees and he's feeling so sheltered and so happy. Now he meets his future guru, Lokanath Goswami. So Lokanath Goswami takes prasadam with Narottam, and then Jiva Goswami is asking Narottam, narrate to Lokanath Goswami what happened. Tell him how you got Krishna Prem. Narottam is a little boy. He's still a teenager. So he's just narrating, this is what happened. And then I went to this Padmavati river, and this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and all that he's narrating, and this is how I ran, and this is how I escaped, and I came, and Lokanath Goswami is just hearing all this and is so happy. So while taking prasad, now Krishnadas Babaji had also told Narottam about Lokanath Goswami. So he was, in his mind thinking that I want to take initiation from him. He is my guru. So he shares that with Lokanath Goswami, and he says, please accept me as your disciple. Please give me shelter. And Lokanath Goswami, he just laughs it out. He said, oh, you don't need a guru. You have met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. You have received Krishna Prem from Mahaprabhu directly. I don't think you need a guru. So, and then Narottam is insisting, and then Lokanath Goswami, he just waves it off, and they finish prasadam and they go away. Now, Narottam is completely haunted by this one thought. I want Lokanath Goswami as my spiritual master. I need his shelter. He becomes very, very attached. So all the time he's just thinking, how should I go about it? What should I do? What will make him agree? But whereas Lokanath Goswami had taken a vow that he will never accept any disciple. So now as he keeps thinking that, one day Jiva Goswami visits him, and Jiva Goswami is asking, Narottam, what is the source of your sadness? And he says, Goswami, I want to take initiation from Lokanath Goswami, but he's not accepting. What should I do? Please help me. And then Jiva Goswami says, okay, I don't think he will accept, but you can try. Serve him. Serve him. That's what he says. Serve him. And he leaves. Now he's contemplating, okay, Jiva Goswami gave me some hint. He says, serve him. How do I serve him? You see, Lokanath Goswami was one such devotee, never mixes with anybody. He's in his ekanta, in the groves. He's in the kunja, all the time chanting, taking very little prasad, hardly meets anybody. How do you serve him? What way should I serve him? How should I serve my guru? He doesn't understand. So as he's contemplating, one thing comes to his mind. Oh yes, I know how I can serve my guru. Lokanath Goswami goes to a particular place every day for passing stool, evacuating, right? The nature's call. So he thought, I'll clean that place. Where he passes, his daily nature's call, I'll clean that place. So now he gets a broom and he just cleans that whole place and gets some nice soft mud and sand from the river bank, Yamuna, and then he puts that soft mud and makes it very neat and clean place. Now next day morning when Lokanath Goswami comes there, he thinks, how come this place became so nice and neat and clean? What is happening? And that Narottam Das kept doing for months together. Every single day, hide inside in the bushes and somehow crawl from those creepers and come to that clearing and clean that place of where his guru goes for the nature's call. And then after a few months, Lokanath Goswami said, this is too much. I'm going to find out who's doing this. So one day he just hides inside those bushes and is waiting to see who is this person doing this service to me every single day. And then you see, because he used to do this in the early morning, even before the sun rises, so there is not much light. Now Lokanath Goswami is an old man, so now he hears, somebody has started cleaning that place. So he shouts, "Who is that? Who is there? Who is that? Who is this doing?" And then now he can't escape. So he says, "Oh, this is me, Guru Maharaj, this is me." And then Lokanath Goswami, he gets very upset. He said, "Why are you doing this? You are a Rajkumar, you are a prince. Is this correct, what you are doing? This is not correct. Do you think if you do this, I'm going to give you initiation?" "I'm not. Don't do this, don't do this." And he gets very upset. And then Narottam just falls on his feet and he says, "I've given my heart to you already. Now I can't take it back. You are my guru. Whether you accept me, you don't accept me, you are my guru. I've given you my heart." And now, after so many requests by Narottam and his rendering of service and his sweet talks and his humble attitude, and finally, Lokanath Goswami accepts. Now, in some place I read that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in his dream now, and Lokanath Goswami's dream, and chastises him, "Accept Narottam, don't do this, give up your vow." That's what I read some other places. So finally, Lokanath Goswami says, "Okay, Narottam, I'll give you initiation. I'll accept you as my disciple, but you will be my only disciple, one and the only disciple." And he says, "Okay." So then, oh my God, it is like a big ceremony. They arrange the Yagya Shala, and Jiva Goswami, he does the Achaman and he does the fire sacrifice, and Narottam goes and takes bath in the Yamuna, wears his new set of clothes, and then he sits in the initiation Yagya. And finally, Lokanath Goswami initiates Narottam Das. And I thought that was so very beautiful, so humble and so sweet, being a son of a king, doing such a service for his guru. So now, life is beautiful. He's in Vrindavan, he got the guru he wanted as his shelter in association of Jiva Goswami, because Lokanath Goswami had instructed him that you should learn the scriptures from Jiva Goswami. Now, we all know that Jiva Goswami had so much responsibility on his shoulder, because after Rupa and Sanatan left, the whole thing was on his shoulders, renovating of the temple, completing of the temples which were undone, the legal aspects of the Radha Damodar temple or the Radha Govindaji temple, writing his own books, completing the other manuscripts, dealing with the Muslim kings, and then keeping the whole Gaudiya acharyas and the whole sampradaya alive and active, and so many things was going on. But Jiva Goswami made sure that it's not only that I do service, but I also train the next generation because they will have to carry forward this mission. So he started something called the Rupa Vidya Peeth, where he was training the youngsters from the books of Rupa and Sanatan about the Gaudiya tradition, about the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Lokanath Goswami asked him to go and enroll in that school. So now he enrolled into Jiva Goswami's school. And there he met his friends who were going to be friends for his life. So he met Shyamananda, who is also called Dukhi Krishna, and he met Srinivas Acharya. Of course, this Acharya and this Pandit and this Thakur, all these names were given to them by Jiva Goswami. This Thakur name to Narottama is given by Jiva Goswami. This Acharya name to Srinivas and Pandit to Shyamananda was given by Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami became their Shiksha Guru. He was teaching them regularly scriptures. And of course, later we know that Narottam Das Thakur was very affectionately called Thakur Mahashay. They used to address him as Thakur Mahashay. So now life was beautiful. I got his guru, was getting nice scriptural education from Jiva Goswami. And not only that, he was also hearing Krishna's flute sometime. He saw Krishna sometime. And once it also happened that Radharani personally came. And Radharani told him that I'm so happy, Narottam, with your service. So I want to give you a seva of boiling milk. So like Radharani said that I meet Krishna every afternoon and the gopis, the manjaris, they prepare a very nice sweet for Krishna, a milk sweet. So Champakalata, she is very expert in boiling milk. So I'm appointing you as an assistant to her. You should do this seva. And she just leaves. So now he shares this with his Guru Maharaj, Lokanath Goswami. This is what happened. Lokanath Goswami, of course, reveals to him that, yes, Narottam, you are Vilasa Manjari, or you say you are Champaka Manjari in Goloka, and that was your service there also. So Radharani has reinstated you in the service. So now Narottam becomes very happy. So he's doing every day this Manasi Seva, where he's boiling the milk for making sweet for Krishna. Now, so many times it used to happen that while doing the Manasi Seva of boiling the milk, or, in those days how they do it, on the top of the dry wood, they just lit it and they boil the milk. So several occasions it happened that sometimes the milk is overflowing. So when it's overflowing, Narottam just goes and picks it up with his bare hand and then gets his fingers burnt. And when he comes out from this Manasi Seva back to this world, and he still sees the fingers are burnt, and now he's feeling shy that somebody will see it. So he used to just cover them. But still everybody used to understand that, oh, again Narottam has burnt his fingers today while boiling the milk. So like that, life was beautiful. Hearing Krishna's flute and doing personal seva, having association of Guru. But now a different chapter started in Narottam's life, and that happened in one of the Kartik festivals. So during one of the Kartik festivals, Jiva Goswami invited everybody, all the different Goswamis and all of them who were living in different parts, and he called them all over, and it was a grand Kartik festival, and everybody was wondering how come Jiva Goswami is making it so grand and inviting everybody. Something is there in his mind. And yeah, as predicted, in the middle of the festival, Jiva Goswami makes an announcement. He said, I have decided to send Narottam and Shyamananda and Srinivas to Bengal. And they are going to carry the books written by all Goswamis, all of you, and by Rupa and Sanatan. And they will make copy of those books and they will spread Krishna consciousness in Bengal. Now all of them present there became so happy. Jai, Jai, Jiva Goswami is taking a lead. Next chapter is starting in preaching. This is what we have to do now. We are all happy. There are so many books written, but they need to reach Bengal. Now, of course, there was an underlying reason behind it. Janava Mata had given a message to Jiva Goswami that things are not so right in Bengal because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, and people are getting diverted, confused, and getting into different directions. These books needs to be brought back so that they're more clear about our philosophy, clarification, and they become united again in preaching. So now everybody was very happy, except for, of course, those three. They were like, it's like heartbreaking for them because they don't want to leave the association of all these exalted devotees, and they don't want to go to Bengal. But then selfless service is a symptom of love. When you really love, then you want to serve. So now they thought, okay, we don't like it, but if this is what will please our Guru, then we want to do it. So they were ready to do it. Of course, it's so easy said than done, because if you have to go out from your comfort zone, they're comfortable, they're happy, relaxed, life is beautiful. But he has to, and see, those days traveling was not like the way we travel for preaching nowadays, comfortable preaching. But it was really difficult going in bullock carts. Sometimes days together there will be no food to eat, and it is a they don't know the unknown terrain. There are no Google Maps, and there are no phones, and there are no WhatsApps, and then they're not even sure if they will ever come back and they will meet their Guru or not, because Lokanath Goswami was already very old. So they don't know whether I can see my Guru again or not. But you see, everybody in the parampara was an example to their successors, because the same thing happened in Lokanath Goswami's life. When he met Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, he didn't want to leave Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu told him, leave, go to Vrindavan. So it was so heartbreaking for him. Why should I leave Mahaprabhu? When Supreme Lord is present in front of you, how do you leave him and go? But he did it. This is what is going to make Mahaprabhu happy. He did it. He left Mahaprabhu and he went to Vrindavan with Bhugarbha Goswami. Same thing we see in the life of Rupa and Sanatan. They didn't want to leave, but Mahaprabhu said, no, you have to preach. So they just left the association of Mahaprabhu and they were preaching in Vrindavan. We see the same thing happen in Jiva Goswami's life. When he met Nityananda, and Nityananda Prabhu took him on Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, he asked Nityananda Prabhu, can I go and see Mahaprabhu in Puri? And Nityananda Prabhu said, no, you can't. Go to Prayag, take your education, and then go to Vrindavan. A lot of things have to be done. But he never complained that I'll just see one time Mahaprabhu, He never complained. He just left. And then and after that Mahaprabhu left this world. So Jiva Goswami could never have darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we see the same thing in Srila Prabhupada's life. And Srila Prabhupada's disciples also, they want to associate with him, but Prabhupada said, no, if you love me, then you just preach. It's not about staying with me, but doing something for me, something for carrying forward my Guru's mission. So this is what happened, and then they just agreed and they all left. So now Jiva Goswami made all the arrangements, the books were put in the trunks, and the trunks were properly locked, everything was put on the bullock cart, and then the cart started. There were some 10-15 guards, and all three of them left. They took blessings from their Guru, and they all left. Now, of course, it's a big story. I'll just cut it down, of course. And then how the books get lost in Ban Vishnupur. The king himself is, part of the dacoit team, and how they steal the books, and now they're all heartbroken. They don't know what to do. So Srinivas Acharya says, I'll stay back here and try to get the books. Meanwhile, you continue the journey. So now without the books, Shyamananda Pandit and Narottam Das, they go to Kheturi. Now, when they reach Kheturi, of course, the books part, later on the books are recovered. That's another story. But now here they go to Kheturi, and then in some books it's written that when he went to Kheturi, his parents were present and they were very happy in receiving him. Whereas in some places it is said that his parents had long gone. They were no more in this world. So, however, we'll stick to the thing that his parents were there. So his parents were there, and then he took their blessings, and they were so happy to see him after such a long time. And after staying in Kheturi for some time, Shyamananda Pandit, he left for Orissa. So now Srinivas Acharya was in Ban Vishnupur, and Shyamananda Pandit was in Orissa, and Narottam Das Thakur was in Kheturi. But now there were no books to preach. So now he was like thinking, what should I do? How should I preach? He was all alone. He already started initiating disciples and whatever way he could preach. So then he goes for a pilgrimage. From Kheturi. He goes to Navadvip, and there he associates with more followers and associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some of them were still there, some of them had already left. So he goes to Ekachakra, to Nityananda Prabhu's birthplace, and then he goes to Jagannath Puri, and then of course that's again a long story of how many different miracles happen on the way, and how when he reaches Puri, he actually sees the vision of Jagannath Rath Yatra happening. And he sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing with his associates, and then he's just standing and watching the whole thing, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls him and just gives him a hug and tells him, Narottam, write songs, write bhajans, and through your music, I will reach to people's heart. So that one instruction was there in Narottam's heart, and he started composing a very, very unique style of music, which was very, very uncommon those days. Now, of course, we don't think very big thing about it, but those days, as writing in simple Bengali, and conveying the whole deep philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in such simple language was very rare and very unique. It was very creative, and Narottam Das Thakur did that, and that way through his bhajan he opened the door of devotion for common man. It was so easily understood by everybody because it was simple Bengali language, so they could just memorize, they could repeat, they could imbibe in their lives. So this instruction he got from Mahaprabhu in Puri. And of course there is a pastime of how when he went to Navadvip, he saw everybody is in sorrow. Some devotee somewhere alone crying. Some devotee somewhere is fragile in health, not eating anything and just crying. Somebody's here sitting in grief. Somebody's there. Nobody's talking to each other. No more Harinam Sankirtan, no communication. All are simply crying. Everybody is in grief. They are in separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So while he went to Kanai Narshala, he went to Katwa, he went to so many other places. He also went and met Jahnava Mata at Kharda. So while he just went on this pilgrimage, he was just contemplating that what should I do to revive everybody's enthusiasm again. People are, some of them our hearts are gone, some of them have become diverted into some other thing, somebody have become, so many things have happened because now they don't have any association. And as something that we can relate to during this COVID time, suddenly, for in the month of April, May, there was like no association of devotees. Completely everybody is locked inside, and many of them shared that the only thing that could keep their devotion alive was this Zoom and internet. Otherwise, what way to connect to devotees, and that could keep their spiritual life, somehow together, because we are all so largely and heavily dependent on Vaishnava association. And if we don't have Vaishnava association, we just, fall down. And it's so much like it's our food, our life. It's a food of our spiritual practices. So now there was no Sankirtan, and of course, now Narottama was just thinking, what should I do to again unite them, again uplift them, get that spirit back. So as he was thinking, he conceived this very, very popular Keturi festival. So he decided that I will invite everybody and make a grand Gaur Purnima festival. Now for some time, though Mahaprabhu was not there, they were not having something called Gaur Purnima, or they were just in grief, in separation of Mahaprabhu, so they didn't have such grand program or something. So now on the day of Gaur Purnima, he decided that he will have this grand festival where everybody will come and unite and, again get enthusiastic to preach Krishna consciousness. So of course, Keturi festival by itself is a big class, which I don't want to go into now. What grand preparations he had. And of course, the big help that he had was from his cousin brother, because when Narottam did not become the king of Keturi, then his father's younger brother Purushottam Datta's son Santosh Datta became the king, and he also became the disciple of Narottam Das Thakur. So now he was ready to give all the wealth for this Keturi festival. So a very, very grand festival was organized, and I was just reading how they made a huge pond, and they made a huge flower garden, and they made a huge residential complexes. They made a huge ornate temple, and they made so many facilities, and they had big storehouses for storing things for this Keturi Gaur Purnima festival. And of course, there's another pastime of how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in the dream of Narottam on one certain night and says, Narottam, I've been waiting for you. I'm in this one rice go down. For years together, I've been waiting for you. Please come and take me out. So next day morning, he just asked everybody, is there any big rice go down here? Or some rich man who has many rice go down? So they said, yeah, we know this man, and they take him there. And then he asked, oh, so you have this rice go downs, can I go and have a look? And this man is like, hey, Narottam, don't do that. My rice go down is infested with snakes. So we never go there. For years together, nobody has gone there. So you don't go. No, he says, but where are they? And he says, oh, here they are. And without even talking to anybody, he just starts entering inside. And everybody's like, Narottam, don't do that. What are you doing? He just enters inside the go down and starts digging and looking here and there. And finally he comes out with a beautiful deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vishnu Priya, completely decked up with jewels and clothes. And he just comes out there and he says, here. And everybody's like, Jai. Oh, so now Narottam Das is all the more glorified, and they become so happy. But in the dream, he was asked to install another 5 sets of deities. So now he wants to install this deity on the Gaur Purnima day, along with Vraja Mohan deities and Radha Raman and Radha Kanta and Radha Krishna and Vallabhi Kanta. So like that, many 5 different sets of deities are to be installed. So now he's very happy. A beautiful invitation has been sent to everybody in Sanskrit. Nice poetry, and please come. And the invitation is for everybody, for different Goswamis from Vrindavan, for different people in Navadvip. So now even Jahanava Mata comes there with Veerabhadra from Kharda, and Advaita Acharya's sons come from Shantipur, and Raghunandan Thakur comes from Sri Khanda, and devotees come from Katwa, and devotees come from Navadvip. And it's like that, everybody comes for, and Shyamananda Pandit comes for this, and Srinivas Acharya comes for this festival. And many kings and queens come for this festival, and many big poets come, and many erudite scholars come, and many singers come, and so many people, they come for this grand festival. And then finally the day of the festival arrives, and the deities are installed, and the grand festival. And that was the first time Narottam Das introduced his unique singing, his unique composition, his unique music. And when Narottam Das Thakur starts singing, everybody there is in ecstasy. Everybody's dancing and singing on the top of their voice. And lo and behold, what do they see? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself comes there with all his associates, and now everybody's gone crazy. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing, and Nityananda Prabhu is holding Narottam's hand and dancing, and Gadadhar Pandit is holding Shyamananda's hand and dancing, and Srinivas Acharya's Advaita Acharya is holding Srinivas Acharya and dancing, and everybody is just dancing. And there is Rupa Goswami, and then there's Sanatan Goswami, and then there's Haridas Thakur, and then everybody, all the associates, there's Srivas Thakur there, and like that. So like everybody is there, and they're visible to everybody. Everybody can see them, and all of them are dancing. And then finally, after some time, the kirtan dies down, and then they all disappear. Now when they all disappear, everybody's again into grief, they're crying. And for the first time, many of the new people also, maybe simply new in Krishna consciousness, they just attended the Kheturi festival. Even they are able to taste that Vipralamba Bhava, or what it is to be in separation of the Lord, because they saw the Lord and now they got separated. So it's no more into the books. They're actually able to experience that. So now they're so happy. Everybody's one way very happy that they saw the Lord, but one way they're again in separation. And then Jahanava Mata, to try and divert everybody's attention, she says, okay, now the installation is done. Now we'll have a special festival which is called the Fagu festival. So where, you just throw colors on each other. So then they bring buckets and buckets of colors and put them on the deities, and then put them on each other, and then this whole beautiful festival. And that is how the evening ends. And then next day morning again, Jahanava Mata personally cooks for everybody. And then of course the Kheturi festival goes on and on. It's a huge festival which goes on for maybe a few days together. And then finally everybody goes back to their respective places. So this Kheturi festival is a very important contribution of Narottam Das Thakur, because that united the whole Gaudiya Sampradaya, that united everybody, and they were again renewed with energy to preach Krishna consciousness. So that's one very, very beautiful thing, very, very important contribution of Narottam Das Thakur. And of course, there's so many other pastimes, but time is the constraint. I don't want to go over time. I'll just want to end it with his departing pastimes. But one very, very a humorous pastime is about how he makes Narottama Das Thakur, how he makes this Hari Ram and Ramakrishna, how he makes them devotees. They were just sons of some Brahmana who is to sacrifice goats for Devi Puja. And how one day they just come there for taking some goats, for taking them for sacrifice, and how Narottam and Ramachandra Kaviraj. Oh, I should talk about Ramachandra Kaviraj, because when we talk about Narottama Das Thakur, if we don't talk about Ramachandra Kaviraj, it's not complete. Ramachandra Kaviraj was disciple of Srinivas Acharya, but he was very close friend of Narottam. So they both were just walking on the bank of Padmavati, and then they see these two Brahmin boys who were trying to get some goats for slaughter for this Devi Puja. And there's a whole humorous story of how they are brainwashed, and how then they don't go back home. They just take initiation from Narottam Das, and they take initiation from Ramachandra Kaviraj, and they become devotees. And when they go back home, their father is shocked to see them shaven head with tulsi mala. And then how their father is trying his best, to convince them. And then he calls different pundits to defeat their children and convince them that Brahmanas are more high class, or Brahmanas are more respected than Vaishnavas. And he chastises his children that we are Brahmanas, and how come you took initiation from a Kaista, from Narottam? He's just a son of a Kaista. I know his father very well, and why did you do that? It's just chastises them. So this is another very interesting pastime, and how their children become overnight scholars, and they start defeating everybody. And his father is surprised that where did they get all this knowledge from? And then, of course, there is this pastime of how Chand Rai and Raghavendra Rai, how they become devotees. Chand Rai was he was like a dacoit, like a roadside dacoit, and how he was taken up by some ghost, and then how Narottama Das Thakur helps him to come out from that. And then like that, there's so many beautiful pastimes of how Narottama Das Thakur was such a compassionate preacher, such an expert preacher. He made everybody, right from the Brahmana scholars to dacoits to just about everybody, he made them pure devotees. And then there's a pastime of how he made Ganga Narayan Chakravarti. He was one of the very, very reputed Brahmin scholar, and how he also surrenders to Narottama Das Thakur. And then the final pastime, the Kheturi temple becomes very famous. A lot of people are coming. Now Narottama Das Thakur is very famous. So Narottama Das Thakur finally decides that, it's becoming too crowded. I just need some separate space for my bhajan. So then a little bit far away from Kheturi, he has his own bhajan sthali, and there he resides with Ramachandra Kaviraj. And they both are very happy, sharing Krishna Katha and living in peace. But one day, a letter arrives from Srinivas Acharya asking his disciple to join him back, because he wanted to go to Vrindavan and he wanted his disciple to be his assistant. So he asked him to come back. And now Narottam is, he's in grief because he doesn't want to leave Ramachandra's company. But then what can be done? Ramachandra has instruction from his spiritual master, so Ramachandra just leaves him. And when Ramachandra leaves, now Narottam is, he doesn't want to live anymore. He just wants to give up his body, because the only thing that was keeping him alive was the association of Ramachandra Kaviraj. And now his disciples, Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, and they understand that looks like Guru Maharaj is trying to leave his body. So they're just trying to divert his attention. So one day Ganga Narayan Chakravarti comes and tells him, Guru Maharaj, why don't you come to my house? You're not eating anything. How your body is becoming, why don't you come to Gambhila and you can take bath every day in Ganga and we can make some nice prasadam for you. You'll have a change of your mind and change of the scenery. So everybody thought he's not going to accept, because he's always in separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and crying. But he said, yeah, why not? Let's go. I'm coming. So everybody became very happy. Oh, looks like then Guru Maharaj is going to come back to normal. He's going to take prasadam now. He's going to become normal. So they're all very happy. They all decide, they all gather together and they all go to Gambhila. And now they reach Gambhila, and then Narottama Das Thakur says, okay, come on. So now I want to take bath. So then Narottama Das Thakur goes and takes bath in the Ganga. And then he comes out from the Ganga and he's lying down on the bank. And then suddenly he's just lying there lifeless.
And now the devotees understand, oh, so he wanted to leave his body. That is why he came here. And now they're all crying and crying. Oh, please come back. What are you doing? And he's just hardly breathing. And for days together, for 3 to 4 days, he just lies there and just lies there without any motion. And now Ganga Narayan Chakravarti is like, oh, I'm so useless. I did this. He was okay in his bhajan stali. I called him here and now see, he's going to leave his body. And as he's crying, few brahmanas of that area, the Gambhila Smartha Pandit, they're all mocking at Ganga Narayan. You and your guru. Your guru is a kaista, not even a Brahmin, and you people take initiation from him, and now he's dying, and you people do keep on doing that Harinam. What is all this? And they're just mocking and laughing at him. And now Ganga Narayan, he feels so bad. He runs back. And he holds Narottama Das Thakur's feet and says, Guru Maharaj, we require you. We need your shelter. Please, we need your guidance. Don't go away just now. If you go away, people like these pandits, they will make mockery. They will make mockery. They will preach. All our mission, will be stopped. We need your guidance. We are not yet, we can't stand on our own. We need your help. Please don't go away at this moment. So now there is no life. All the other disciples who have surrounded him, they already said that there is no pulse, there is no life, and still Ganga Narayan Chakravarti is crying and crying. And then what they see suddenly, there's an effulgence, coming out from the body, and then they see what appears is a golden Brahmin thread on the body of Narottama Das Thakur, showing the whole world that he's a real Brahmin. And when the Smartha Pandits, they see this, they get like, oh, and they fall on the feet of Narottama Das Thakur. And then Narottama Das Thakur just gets up, walks, takes bath in Ganga and goes back to Kheturi. And now all these Gambhila Pandit, they all gather and they talk among themselves that this is what we saw. Narottama is a real Vaishnava. Let us all take shelter from him. So they all go to Kheturi. They take shelter of Narottama Das Thakur. They all become his disciples. And now it's like the peak of his preaching. Every single person is only talking about Narottam. All are becoming devotees. And now after a few days, again Narottama Das Thakur calls his disciples, says, let's go to Gambhila. I want to take Ganga Snan. And this time his favorite disciple Ganga Narayan says, no, Guru Maharaj, it is okay. We can take bath here only. No, I want to go to Ganga. Now they understand. Looks like Guru Maharaj wants to leave, but they can't say anything to him. So finally they go there. And now they're all crying as he's entering Ganga. They know something is going to happen. So now Narottama Das Thakur is in a very good mood and he says, why not you massage me? Massage me. So this Ramakrishna, he comes on one side and Ganga Narayan comes on one side and they start massaging his body. Now what they see, as they are massaging his body is melting. His body is melting and becoming a white liquid and mixing in Ganga. So now they're able to understand what is happening. Guru Maharaj is leaving, but they can't do anything about it. They can't just take him and put him, they can't do anything. They're just watching it happen. And then only thing that they could do is they just took a clay pot and collected all that white liquid for his samadhi. And this is how Narottama Das Thakur leaves his body in a very, very glorious way. So like that, so many, we can keep hearing the unlimited pastimes of how Narottama Das Thakur was a person Bhagavata, not only preaching, talking, changing lives of thousands and thousands of people. And when the more we hear about these acharyas, the more we feel, okay, we are connected to such a glorious sampradaya via Srila Prabhupada. These are our ancestors, and we are connected to them, and we feel so sheltered and so inspired, and we feel so grateful what they have done for us. We can't repay to them. And of course, the more we hear, the more grateful that we become. Our heart becomes a fertile land where where bhakti can sprout, where love for Krishna can sprout. So with this, I end it here. I'm very sorry to go over time, but I don't know if justice can be done to this topic because it's so huge. And there's just so many things to talk about Narottama Das Thakur. So like this, Narottam Das Thakur, he leaves his body, and then, of course, his parampara and his teachings are still continued. His grand Gaur Purnima festival, Srila Prabhupada kept it alive and active, and we still have such grand Gaur Purnima festival happening every year. And on this occasion of his divine appearance day, I pray from the core of my heart that all of us get the mercy of Narottam Das Thakur, and we can become good devotees, and some way or the other, in whatever small way, if we can also assist the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in whatever little way. I'm sure we are all part of this big machine. Sometimes a big machine has small parts, small screw somewhere, small nails, but every screw is doing their own part in the bigger machine, and we are all like those small, whatever our ability, capability, by Narottam Das' mercy, by the mercy of the Acharyas, if we can be engaged and somehow serve Guru and Krishna in a way that pleases them. Thank you so much. Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
And he has taken part in that holy bond that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. Is that because of that he has acquired that, or like normal people like us also can have an inspiration without the gift, also can do the bhajans? So what is the take home point of that?
Okay, so your question is that... Okay, once again. So your question is that Narottam Das Thakur was blessed because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had kept the Krishna Prem for him. So what about us? Yeah, but Krishna Prem has also been kept for us also by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has blessed us also. Otherwise, how did Srila Prabhupada come into our lives? So the fact that Srila Prabhupada has come to our lives, the fact that we got an opportunity to read Srila Prabhupada books, the fact that we all have kantis in our neck and tilak on our head, and we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we are connected to this glorious ISKCON movement and Gaudiya Sampradaya itself shows that we are all blessed. We are all blessed. Otherwise, how? Out of millions and millions of people are out there, and it's we who got this opportunity to get connected to this glorious Sampradaya. So yes, we are all empowered, and we are all got the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has put that in his holy name, and by rendering service to Guru and Krishna, we all get that gift by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So nothing to worry. It's not about only Narottam Das Thakur, but its only thing is everybody does according to one's capacity. So it's not that, like your question may be, so can we also become one day do something like Narottam? We are already doing. It's that a elephant can walk and a fish can swim. You can't gauge the capacity of elephant by the way he swims, or you can't gauge the capacity of fish by the way the fish can climb the tree, because fish is supposed to swim and elephant is supposed to walk and birds fly. So like that. So yeah, we have our own individual capacities, and we've all been blessed, and we should have full faith. And with sincere efforts, if we do our sadhana properly and have that faith and work in that direction, we are also empowered, and we will do whatever we are supposed to do, because everything in our lives are also orchestrated by Lord, and we all have a role to play. We all have a role to play in this mission, all of us. That is why I know this one personal pastime of Prabhupada I like a lot in this regard. I just share with you in a minute. One place, Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk, and he saw some wild weed growing somewhere, and with a cane he pointed out and he said, "What is this for?" And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, "This is useless." And Srila Prabhupada immediately said, "You are useless." And people around were surprised, because Tamal Krishna Maharaj is like one of the favorite disciple of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada chastising him in front of everybody like this, "You are useless." And then Prabhupada said, "Nothing is useless in Krishna's creation. Everything has some or the other use. You can't say this is useless." And we see that, there were days, few decades ago, nobody even knew what is aloe vera. They always thought it's some kind of a cactus. But now with Ramdev Baba and Patanjali, and people are going gaga everywhere about aloe vera and its benefits. So some useless cactus, but we know it's not useless now. We know that everything, every herb, every plant has some or the other, role to play. So personally, I like this example so much because I just keep this thing in my mind, and I feel that, yes, we are not useless. We're not useless. We also have some role to play in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Definitely. We may not be Narottama Das Thakur, but whatever. We may be that cactus, but we are not completely useless. Everybody of us has some role, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has thought about all of our roles in some or the other way, small or big, and we have a part to play in this. So we should just, that is why we are reading this glories of different acharyas, so that we understand how glorious are our ancestors, and that makes us feel so confident and proud. And yes, we can we see our past acharyas, and we are connected to that glorious sampradaya. So we are all empowered, and we all can do. So it's not, we don't have to wait for any dream or vision from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or any golden pot with Krishna Prem. We already have it. We already got it from Srila Prabhupada's mercy. We just need to work on it. We just need to work on it. We need to work on it and develop it and nourish it further. The seed is there. We just have to put water and nourish it. And it will grow. Someday it will grow. I just hope this helps you, Mataji. Okay. Okay, so your question is that do devotees follow astrological charts? Do they follow Vastu Shastra? Is it correct or not? Now, since you mentioned about this pastime from Narottama Das Thakur's life, we can't compare with their situations, because even though astrologers or those who were watching palmist or horoscope makers, they were all genuine, and that was their profession, and they were also devotees of the Lord. But why we don't do it now is because hardly such genuine people are still available. It has become more like a money-making thing, and sometimes they do misguide. Now, coming to that karma kanda part which you said, no, it's like this. I was reading somewhere that Prabhupada at one place where I said that I don't mind if they are worshipping Ganesha. Now, please don't quote me. Quote me anyway. He said, I don't mind, but the problem is, like some devotee asked that before going for book distribution, can I just, Vigna Vinashak, Ganpati? So Prabhupada said, the problem is after some time you will stop worshipping Krishna and you will only worship Ganesha. That is the problem. Now, see, the problem is there is nothing wrong. You can consult a Vastu Shastri or you consult a person with horoscope, but the problem is then we'll forget about other things and we'll start concentrating and focusing on this only. So now we'll forget the Krishna conscious aspects of it, and we'll be more concerned about Vastu, So the whole point is, these can be additional or this can be helpful, but they should be like side dish. The whole point is Krishna conscious process. Why I'm saying this is, let me just give you one practical example. Let's say you want to buy a house which is you got something which is very close to the temple. So now you can go to Mangalarti, you can participate in the program, but it's not Vastu, it's not Vastu correct house. So now you will say, because it's not matching with the Vastu, I'll go and get some house which is very far from temple, but that is Vastu oriented. So now these kind of situations, you give priority to that which is helping in our Krishna conscious life. So that is why devotees, they avoid all these things, because we get so much engrossed into that we compromise our main goal for these small little things. Now, they can be used as a support or help, but they should not be used independently. Then we'll become a karma kandis. And then again, all said and done, we chant Hare Krishna, everything is covered into that. We don't need to do separately anything, Even the demons understand that. We see in Bali Maharaj's Leela how Shukracharya at the end is telling Krishna, telling Vaman Dev, where your name is chanted, everything is auspicious. Everything is complete. Nothing is incomplete, my Lord, wherever your name is chanted. So when Lord's name is chanted, even the house which is not Vastu compliant also will become a Vastu compliant, because when Krishna's name is chanted. And even if some house may be perfect Vastu, but there is no Krishna's name chanted, then it's like a place for the crows to stay. So like that. So that's the whole point. Only thing is, Because our human brain is so limited, and if we keep on adding so many things in our life, we'll get diverted unnecessarily. That's why we're just keeping one single focus and one single principle in life. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Associate with devotees, take prasad. And we just want to keep it simple. Keep it simple, because these things will complicate it. But then if we are matured enough and we know how much to take and all, we can always consult. See, these are helpful. Vastu, what does the Vastu Shastra? It will just tell you where the doors and what should be placed in such a way that proper energies flow. But of course, we have this source of super energy, Harinam and Hare Krsna Mahamantra. So we are not bothered about these different energies, but then they're helpful. They don't cause any harm. But we don't compromise on other things based on these things. How much importance should be given to what, that much only it should be given, nothing more than that. Otherwise it will cause an imbalance. There should be proper balance maintained. If we can do that, it's enough. I can elaborate on this, but then I want to take some more questions if there are some other different questions.
Sometimes conflicting desire of preaching massive scale, but at the same time being alone to do your bhajan.
Okay, now let me see if I got the question right. You said that I was saying that Narottama Das Thakur at one point said that it's becoming too busy in Kheturi. Lots of people visiting the temple, so he wanted some secluded place where he can do his bhajan. So how do we understand that? And is it okay for a devotee to go to some secluded place and do bhajan? Did I get the question right?
Something like this.
Okay. All right. Now, again, we don't imitate the great Vaishnavacharyas. We simply follow what they said, but we don't try to imitate what they did. Because for Narottama Das Thakur and Ramchandra Kaviraj, maybe they don't need association of, devotees. They are themselves, drowned in Krishna Prem. But when it comes to us, we definitely need Vaishnava association. And if we try to just stay alone and do some ekanta bhakti, we are not sure what will happen to us. The proof is the COVID situation, when many of the devotees felt that it was a little difficult to do bhakti in ekanta. They really were hankering for association of devotees. And again, even if we talk about this, Narottama Das Thakur also was not alone. Again, having said that, he was not alone. There also he was taking the association of Ramchandra Kaviraj. And then we hear that when Narottama Das Thakur came to know, he got the news that Ramchandra Kaviraj had left this world. He was completely shattered and he wanted to give up his body. And then we also see in bhajans of Narottama Das Thakur, many places he says, Ramachandra Sangha Mange Narottama Das. He's asking for devotee association. So at every stage of life, when one is neophyte or one is advanced or one is still in the journey, I guess every stage of life one needs association of devotees. So even though Narottama Das Thakur was wanted to stay away from crowd, but he didn't want to leave devotee association. In fact, many places in the Prema Vilas and in Narottam Vilas, you can read that how even when they were little far from Kheturi, Ganga Narayan Chakravarti used to sometimes carry prasadam for them. See, the whole point why Narottama Das wanted to stay away is Kheturi became so famous, it became like a pilgrimage place, or rather a tourist destination, something like that. So thousands and thousands of people are coming regularly for darshan. So when they come for darshan, then they want to see him, they want to do pranam. So the whole point is he didn't want to take materialistic association. It's not that he wanted to run away from devotee association. Devotee association, one wants till the fag end of their life. Nobody wants to leave. What he was trying to do is, so many neophyte people come, and at one place he mentions, he said, now my disciples are well qualified and they can take over, they can take care of the service. So he just wanted to maybe have a smooth transition where if he stays a little away, then his disciples learn to make the day-to-day decisions on their own, manage the temple. Is just like preparing them for his departure, which will happen. He just wants to train them how they can live in his separation, at the same time follow his instructions and carry forward the mission. So it's like he's just preparing them mentally, preparing preparing them physically, preparing them, by giving that situation. But at no point of time we see that he was trying to stay away from devotee association. So he was always there. He was constantly, and even though he was there, devotees used to often come and visit him, but he was selective. He was selective about whom to associate with. So at one point in bhakti, he was completely available for everybody. And then when he had his people doing the job, then he took a little step back, training them, and then he is taking more higher association or selected association, where he's taking association of Ramachandra Kaviraj. But then we see in his bhajans also he says he's hankering for association. So yeah, devotee association. So there is no apparent controversy here. Everybody needs devotee association, and devotee association is the only way. And especially in Kali Yuga, we see in Bhakti Vinod Thakur also says, Ekaki amar nahi paye bal, Harinama Sankirtan. In Kali Yuga, Sange bala, Sange, the Sange Shakti, the whole thing, the whole strength in our Krishna consciousness comes by our association only. The more we have association of devotees who nourish us, we can somehow survive in our spiritual journey. We very much need this association. So there is no controversy. There is no point where we need ekanta. And again, what he was doing there also he was associating by Ramchandra and associating through books. Associating, reading more scriptures, discussing, taking prasad. So that's what I mean to say, that association. So it's not that he was running away from association. Maybe see, also there is so many things to it. It's like, if he's there is management of the temple, the people coming to visit. So all this, maybe he want to take a back seat from management, day-to-day management, but he doesn't want to take back seat from association of devotees. Of course, again, having said that, we can't compare with them, or we can't compare with Lokanath Goswami, who was sitting inside the bushes and he was not associating much. We can't compare with them, because wherever they are, they're carrying Krishna in their heart. If we sit inside those bushes in Vrindavan, we'll start thinking about this butterfly, that butterfly. What happened with Maharaj Bharat? He got attached to a deer. He was trying to do it in a secluded place, and he ultimately got attached to deer. So if we try to do that, we'll start getting attached to the ants in our room, and the butterfly and the lizard and the cockroach. And no matter what, our mind may just take us everywhere, roundabout tour and come back. Only when we are in devotee association, we are alert. That's my humble opinion, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpataru bhayasya kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Sab Krishna Krishna